welcome everybody. Thanks very much for joining with us today. Um, we're pretty excited. Today is the next release we've had this year for 2014, the Technia Value Components release 2014.2. So the guys have been really busy, and we're ready to share with you what we've done. So we'll just get right into it. Okay, we're here to talk about the future, bringing out the DeLoreans, Back to the Future. This is the Technia Products version 2014.2. With us today in the room is Anders Axelsson, myself, Neil Fippen, and Anders Lundström. We're today going to be talking about what the Technia Products team has been doing since we spoke last time. Anders and Anders are both developers for the Technia products, and I myself am Director of International Sales, so you can follow up with any of us if you have questions after today's session. Before we get started, I know a lot of you are existing users of the TVCs, but I see a few new faces on the webinar today, so I thought I'd give a brief introduction of Technia and what the products do. Technia is celebrating a 20-year anniversary this year. We've been around for 20 years and are now established worldwide. We have offices throughout Asia, all through the Nordics, and the US as well. We've been growing pretty steadily year over year, and the success of our products has contributed to that. We now have 6 products in our portfolio. We have 4 supported enterprise tools that we use. We have 1 integration framework that we released last year, and are now over 180 employees worldwide. So we've been busy. This year brings us over 100 customers, and among those 100 customers, we are now using our TVC products in over 300,000 users. So we're pretty proud of that. And those users actually contribute to the products that we're going to talk about today. Because our development team is here on staff to listen to these users and turn their feedback into the product updates that we'll be sharing today. Before we get to the release, I wanted to explain to you a little bit about a event that we had last week, or 2 weeks ago now, the Technia Innovation Products Day. We had it out here in Stockholm, and it was a great event where we got to share stuff that our products team is doing and gather feedback directly from our customers and hear about the way that they're using the products, and help guide our team to better direct the future of where we take the products for the next release. So let's talk about the Technia Value Components. Basically, the components are built on top of what we call the plug-in model. And I wanted to make sure I pointed this out this time, that the TVCs and the Technia Value Components are a way to differentiate the way that you do implementations in your company, because we have the matrix or Inovia stack always sits at the bottom of any core implementation. However, you can build things on top of that Inovia or the V6 experience by putting in the specific centrals or experiences that you have for Program Central or Engineering Central or whatever it might be to add specific functionality. And that stays out of the box. However, if you would like, the thing that really differentiates the way that we can do development with the TVCs is by establishing a core on top of the Inovia or matrix that never touches any of the schema inside of the system. And that lets us do really great things like apply all of the functionality of the Technia Value Components and add in specific company customizations or optimizers on top of that that never have to worry about being upgraded. So it's a very maintainable system that we build when we use the Technia value component architecture. Okay, so enough of the intro. Let's get into what you're interested in and what's been happening in 2014.2. So with that, let's get right into it. The first big one that's been on a concern for everybody recently has been what's happening with 3D Experience 2014X. Well, we're very happy today to say that we have fully supported 3D Experience 2014X, and with that support, it has its own new platform theme and new look and feel that feels very natural inside of the environment. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Anders, who's going to give you a better feel of what we've done.
Hello. So, since this release, we have had the TVCs validated with the 3D Experience platform 2014X, and it's from now on fully supported. To go with this support, we have also added a matching theme to the TVCs. And as you can see, it looks a little bit more modern. It has implemented a more flat design. We got rid of some unnecessary things like the borders, no gradients, to make it look more like a modern application. It's also very obvious taking a look at the table calculations below. It's really slim and clean.
It looks really nice. There we go. PowerPoint. So the next piece that we've put some upgrades into and some time, we've focused a lot of the recent time since we last did a release is in the structure browser. We've made some pretty significant upgrades to it, and I think you're going to be pretty happy with some of the stuff that we've been doing. The biggest one and really cool feature that we've added is hierarchy support. This is a really nice way to visualize and work inside of these complex structures, anything that the structure browser can support, bill of material or product specification, and really add that visual feel to working in this kind of structured object. So maybe Anders, you could give us a taste for what it looks like.
Sure. For a long time, R&D teams at our customers have benefited from graphical overviews working with engineering structures. And it's been pretty common to draw these overviews in CAD tools, 2D CAD tools, and print it on a big paper, put it on the wall, and use it as a overview map to navigate in these big structures to see how things relate to each other. So this has been a manual work. You had to do it drawing in the CAD tools, and we decided to automate it. So we simply added a parameter to the view configuration in Structure Browser, allowing you to have Structure Browser rendered in this hierarchy way. Let me show you how it looks. So I simply change switch view here to the hierarchy view. In the background is a view just as any other view. I've just added this parameter telling it to render it this way. So it uses the same configuration types, just as the standard structure browser. Means you can reuse your existing table configurations, column configurations, but also Java-based expanders and more complex things. So let me demonstrate how it works. As you can see, it's rendered in a org chart kind of way, top down at the moment. And as you hover one of these nodes, there will be an animation that allows you to see more information. And what controls what is seen on hover is from, it's in the way. Just had a control in the way here. Is the table configurations. So it's simply the freeze pane from the user table configuration that defines what to be shown and what to be shown when you hover. So let me light up the unit and measure and remove the image, as I don't like images. So that would just leave the description as default in the nodes. But I changed my mind. I like images though. I also like to have the name visible all the time. So both you and as administrators and users can control the contents in these nodes. It also carries features. You could use it to edit data. So it carries features like the incel edit. So you could just click edit something, add some more text, or change the unit of measure, for instance.
Seems really responsive. Is that saved directly to the database?
Yeah,
That's
correct.
great.
As you can see, we're keeping or sticking to this flat design thinking. So it looks really modern, and we've also been using this font icons to make it look really modern. So these are all actually the same functionality in the background as the more 3D looking icons from the structure browser. So maybe you recognize this feature where you could just copy paste, send a link to someone, open the forms, the side panel. Why not add an object to the clipboard? Or navigate good to, drill down. So all standard functionality is basically supported within this view as well. Another example of that is this the finder or the search in structure. I'll just search this whole structure for the string 82, the number 82. So a search will be performed in the database, and the result is shown to us with green highlighted of the search result. Another standard feature that's also supported is the data grouping. Let's group by state and then unit of measure, for instance. So up comes this data grouping nodes. You can find out what data in this structure is in complete state. All of that data is actually have the unit of measure each. So that's those two. You can so the very appreciated data grouping feature is also available in the hierarchy mode.
Really intuitive way to manage this complex data.
Next thing I'm about to show you is the data selection. Data selection in the normal or standard structure browser tables is a checkbox. Here you simply click the node itself to have it checked. If you have multi-selection enabled, you can control click, or you could use this lasso to like drag hold of a number of objects that you later can perform an action on, like promote, or let's not do that now, but maybe add all of the selected items to clipboard. So the idea is not only to use this as a graphical overview, but also a view where you actually can perform work tasks in. And as many of our customers use views similar to this printed on the wall, we also provided a printer-friendly view that removes unnecessary icons and links, and styling is a bit different. Like all the borders and lines are black and a bit wider to make better on printed paper. Last thing on hierarchy that I'm going to show you at the moment is the controls up to the right. And this gives the user some quick commands to toggle compressed nodes, for instance, to have all the child nodes compressed. You can light it up again using this little pin, or toggle everything in expand mode. There's also more or less that will toggle the same thing as when you hover the different nodes. There's also zoom in, zoom out. If this is too wide, for instance, you can zoom out to have a better overview. And there's a select all. I think it's a new and really exciting rendering mode, and I hope a lot of you get use of it.
That's great. I think it's really going to change the way people think about, working in these sometimes hard to manage data groupings. Next thing, minor update. We don't need to demo this one, but we updated to the latest version of jQuery. What version are we on this time?
Not sure exactly.
Okay. The latest and greatest.
Yeah. But just to make you aware, for those of you using the jQuery built in TVC, it might be worth knowing.
And now we get to a bunch of more minor but still pretty important updates that we've done for the structure browser. I think I'll go through a few of them and then turn it over to Anders to demo some of the more interesting ones. The first is focus on first field. When you open up a new TVC form to edit data, we have the icon automatically focus on the first field that's open in the TVC form. Again, just a minor enhancement, but it makes a big difference when you're working with forms throughout the day. Also, we're now able to use a frozen selection of a table, freeze it in place, and scroll through it, so that if you have a section of a table that's more important, or you're working in on a large set of data, you can freeze that section and now scroll through it horizontally. Next, we added a drag and drop refresh table. What this means is that when you drag something, say from left to right or right to left, into a structure browser table, the table itself will be refreshed, as well as the source that you brought it from. So again, just giving more direct responsive feedback to the user. It's more satisfying to see that refreshed immediately. And then the date column now supports patterns. You want to say anything about?
I can show some of it really quick. Okay, you have some more.
Yeah, we'll just go through these last
go
three.
through it.
The colored group headers, again, this is a really nice thing as far as giving the users what they want for look and feel. We've updated the group headers so that when the background color of a group is important to indicate some kind of special meaning for that specific group, we can color coordinate things to make it easier to manage visually. Selected objects are now deselected after drag and drop. So if you had 5 items that you brought into a large structure, those would be deselected after you've dragged them over, and again, give that feedback to the user. And the last one that we'll talk about is search in structure. It's now configurable so that the search in structure feature is not persistent. So that when you update or come back as the same user, we can either enforce or not enforce that persistency. And there's a few things in there that were cool that we can
I'll
show.
demo it really quick. So let me take you back into the normal tables. So what did we have? We had a drag and drop unselected after drop. So if I select a few items from the right and just drag drop connect it to the structure to the left, before the objects were still selected on the right side, which weren't really handy. You probably don't want to connect the same items again, so
definitely.
And the scrolling at the left side is earlier, using the scroll wheel on your mouse, you had to be in this scrollable area to the right. So if you were to the left, at the non-scrollable frozen area, you weren't able to use your scroll wheel. So now we listen to that event as well. It's just minor improvement. And for the color group headers, a lot of our, let's see, maybe here, I added it somewhere. Here I added it. A lot of our customers, especially in the apparel world, works with a lot of big tables with a lot of data, and they want to group that data in different sections to make it more user-friendly or easier to work with, to recognize, I want to go to this section, and you could make it easier to find that section if you work with colors. So up on the dates group here is I colored it purple this time.
You can have a shade of purple.
Yeah. So you could use maybe red for very important dates or something. I don't know. Last thing is the search. Earlier, if you searched a structure, next time you returned, structure browser remembered and applied your previous search for you. So you would end up viewing the same things as you return the next time. However, if you're working with really, really big structures, you probably don't want that behavior as it's a performance hit. So we made it possible to just disable this automatic search the same thing feature, so it won't fire. Okay.
Great. Next area that we spent some time in this release is in graphic reporting. And again, the graphic reporting module is one that really helps us visualize this data. And as you can see, a lot of these enhancements that we make are really focused on adding a visual flair to make it really responsive for our users to work in their environments. So in 2014.2, there's no exception. We spent some time updating a feature that hadn't been touched in a little while, the Gantt chart, and added some modern look and feel, and added some additional options for better helping our users visualize those projects. Anders, can you give us a peek at that?
Yeah, to make the Gantt chart even more user-friendly, maybe some of you don't even know the Gantt chart, but it's a way to present work breakdown structure in Anovia, in Program Central, in a graphical way. So you find, yes, this Microsoft project, you find phases and tasks and milestones and things like that. Earlier, this was pretty fixed, or you couldn't configure this view a lot. So we made it more power to you to have this configured in terms of colors. You could turn the phases into these sections that's been requested, using a concept similar to the data handler concept in Structure Browser to set properties on these different graph nodes. So for instance, if you have things that's flagged important or critical, you could have it rendered in red. Or if different tasks are done, you could have it rendered green. So this is just a quick example that I did in my local development environment here.
So we can configure all this through XML.
Yeah, and plug in in an upgrade safe way this handler also in Java to apply your custom logic. You can also control the margins. So you see in this this graph is much more optimized on vertical space than the standard graph over here.
Looks really clean.
And you can control the type of icons also for the milestones. So you can have different ones for different type of milestones, like this diamond shape or square shapes. And yeah,
great. Next thing we did is did some updates to JQ plot options, so that when we're actually working with these JQ plot widgets, we can use the options element so that we can specify only the settings that we want to change. Yeah. So this has got to be helpful, because previously we had to enforce a default every time.
Yeah, so either you use the default or you use your own. So by overriding one property, you had to define the whole default and then change your property that you're interested in. Now you can only define what you want to override. So that helps developer getting things done quicker.
Big time saver. The next section that I want to talk about today is the file manager. We've made some updates here, and you know, a lot of our customers have been asking for some of these for a while, so it's really good to announce that as of 2014.2, we now have drop zone JS. And Lish, maybe you want to explain a little bit about what that means.
Yeah. Client-side Java technology and applets has been painful for a lot of our customers for a long time now. So the JS-based drop zone is basically the first step in the applet-free or client-side Java-free world, or towards that world. So we started with the drop zone, implementing it using HTML5 technologies. So you could drag and drop files into File Manager without using an applet technology for registering this drop event. One of the drivers for this is all of our customers using Macs, where drop events is not allowed even for client-side Java and the applet technologies. And I'll hope we see more applet-free improvements in the future. So let me show you just quickly how it looks. So you have a drop zone and table. There's one above and one in a column. And both are supported. So let me just drop this changelog file within this JS-based drop zone. For those of you familiar with File Manager, you could see there was something different here. We had a progress bar within the HTML page. Same thing will happen now as I drop it in the drop zone itself. Okay, change now. Oops. I changed the change log.
And so that recognized immediately when you dragged it into the previous file, it recognized the file in your system, so it did that automatically.
Carries the same features as the Java-based, applet-based drop zone does. So you can do your own custom drop zone handlers, plug it in a good way. Let me just show you with a bit bigger file here.
That's really nice. You can see exactly the progress of your file uploading to the system.
Yeah. And it's all HTML.
Nice.
That's it.
That's great. Next thing we did, and this is kind of an overall feature, but autocomplete everywhere. So maybe Anders, you can add some light to that.
Actually, that slide for next.
Okay.
Just missed that.
Yeah. So basically, we have a way to put in auto completing in the forms and tables. As we move on here, I'd like to bring in my other Anders. So what we want to do is talk a little bit about the changes and updates that have been made in collaboration. This is a feature that we're we're really excited about, because we think it's going to be really impactful for the future of kind of the direction that the products are taking.
Yeah.
Really responsive and encourage users to work together and make the system be smarter about informing you of what's going on in the system.
Yeah.
And so to do that, I brought in Anders, who's kind of leading the development on collaboration, to explain to you a little bit about the big changes that we made there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I will start with a couple of slides where I will go through the different parts of TVC collaboration, what it is, and what set of features we support now. And after that presentation, I will demo the entire solution for you. So TVC collaboration, it's all about, as Neil says, collaborate on Enovia data. So this is what I will cover in this presentation, what it is, how it's packaged, what features do we have in it, and how it can be configured. We'll give some examples of that as well. So what is TVC collaboration? It's a new set of features for collaborating around Enovia data in various ways. It was first released in 2014.1, has been improved for this release. And currently it has functionality for discussions and also receiving instant notifications based on discussion events. So how is this packaged? It's a part of TVC core, meaning that all of you that have one or more TVC components will get it. That's a part of TVC core. You will install it as a separate component with the installer, so you can select to install it or not install it if you're not interested in it, similar to the TVC wiki. That is also a part of TVC core. The first two releases, the prior one to this one and the latest release we have now, 2014.2, are a limited availability, meaning that you can install it, but you will have to contact us in order to get a free license for that one. And this is mainly due to the fact that it's still under heavy development. So we are planning to have the 2014.3 release of TVC include this one without this limited availability. Then you will be able to install it with your regular TVC license. So the first set of features, discussions. So it's basically adding support for users in a very modern and user-friendly way, discussing around different objects inside Enovia. So in order to achieve that, we have something called discussion panel, which is similar to the TVC side panel we have in structure browser, but it will be injected into the entire page content on the right side, which will allow you to actively discuss while still navigating around the different pages you have for an object. So you never lose the discussion panel, it will always be there. You can see here on this image to the far right of the page, you have this small collapsed discussion panel. It will be visible for the object types that you have configured to enable discussions for. And whenever the user clicks on that one, it will expand the panel and show you all of the discussions for the particular object you are in context of. You have the ability to create new discussions inside this discussion panel. And the create form will look similar to this one. You will be able to set things like the subject, of course, and the message. You can set an important flag. You have something called recipients, which is basically where you can set any number of users if you want to, that will be notified whenever you create this discussion or reply to it. You have a simple HTML-based drop zone for uploading files. This drop zone is not dependent on the file manager drop zone, so this is a part of the collaboration component. You also have the ability to, as a user, add tags if you would like that. I will talk a little bit more about tags later on, how they can be used by indexing and XLE. I will show you all of this in the demo as well, but this is a screenshot of how it looks like in the side panel when you are listing, in this case, 4 discussions around this object. So you get a little top toolbar with some actions. You can see what object you are in context of, and then you can see all the discussions. When you click on one of these discussions, you will be taken to a detail page for this entire discussion. So then you will see who created it, who has been notified about it. You can see if it's private, important. You can see attached files and all the replies and user avatars and things like that. So this gives you a really smooth and good-looking user experience for using discussions. And I would like to add a note, this is not in any way connected to the Innovia out-of-the-box discussion data model. This uses a complete TVC data model for handling these discussions. So moving on to the second part of this component, something called notifications. And this is basically the user receiving instant notification based on discussion events. So when does this notification occur? By default, when someone discusses around an object that you are the owner of. So let's say, for instance, you created a part or something, then another user goes in and creates a discussion, then you will get notified about that. And also if you are the creator of a discussion and someone replies to that one, or if someone replies to another message you have done in a discussion, then you will get an instant notification. And these notifications can also be used for custom events in your system if you'd like to. There are public APIs for using these notifications, so you can trigger them based on pretty much any event that you can hook into in Innovia.
Can we use it for other things in the future, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, you can use them yourself, and we will most likely be using them for different part of the TVC components moving on. Maybe, for instance, if we add some features around workflow, we could use them for notifying users that they have received a new task or something like that.
Nice.
So yeah, we will most likely be using it ourselves in the different TVC components as well.
That's great.
Yeah, really cool. So how does this work? The user gets notified inside the browser. There are two different types of techniques we use in order to send these notifications. And the user can choose whatever he prefers. Unfortunately, there are some browser limitations to that for one of the features as well. And then we have something called the inbox, where you can view all the details about your notifications. So the first one that is supported in all browsers, we call it inline notification, which pretty much notification that is displayed in the top right corner of your Innovia window whenever you are having the window open. So you will get this little inline notification in the top right corner. Will be sent out instantly. So if someone replies to a discussion, you will get it the second after. And we can achieve that using new modern HTML5 technologies, where we can always have an open socket between the client and the server without having any performance issues. So whenever the user logs in, it opens a socket and we were able to send these instant notifications. The second thing, a little bit more advanced, it's called web notification. It will work if you use Firefox, Chrome, Safari, pretty much any browser than Internet Explorer. And then you will get a more Windows-based notification, meaning that you can have your browser window minimized, and then you will still get this little notification in the bottom right corner of Windows, which is really cool, because then you don't have to actively have the Innovia window open, but you can minimize it and maybe be in another application, and then you will still receive this notification. We will most likely be able to support this in Internet Explorer later on, whenever they decide to add support for this in their browser. So whenever Internet Explorer adds support, it will automatically work for that browser as well. So MySpace, I mentioned earlier that we have an inbox for the notifications. So we have added that inbox to something we call MySpace, which is pretty much a personal space for each user. It currently has functionality for inbox and also profile page. So this is how the inbox looks like. You can see in the top right corner of the Innovia system, you have this little inbox icon. So whenever you click that one, it will open this MySpace with the inbox as the default selected item. So you can see in the middle section, you see all the notifications that you have received, that you have in your inbox. And whenever you click one of those, you will get all the details for that notification in the right side. MySpace profile page. Currently a simple profile page allowing you to, as a user, upload an avatar if you would like that for your discussions, and also select what type of notifications you would like to receive, so it can be configured by the users themselves. Some words on Xalead support. We have added support for Exalead for some of the more advanced features that I will demo. So you will be able to run collaboration without Exalead, but there are some things, for instance, the advanced filtering, that you will not be able to use unless you have Exalead or another indexing engine. We have made this in a way that we in the future will be able to add support for other indexing engines than Exalead, for instance, Elasticsearch or Solar or another one. But currently we only support Exalead. Configurations. I will not go into detail on how the configurations look like, but I would like to mention that all of this is, as usual with the TVCs, heavily configurable with XML. So you're able to configure what type of objects you are allowed to discuss around. Maybe I say that a set of object types are not allowed discussions. You can enable discussions based on the state of the object you are looking at. You can add configuration for tags, filtering, rendering the context that you are in and things like that. So it's extremely powerful. So a demo.
Jump in it.
Yeah. So now I log into the system here. You will see in the top right corner we have this icon, icon that will bring you to your inbox. I will demo that later on. So here to the right you can also see this discussion panel collapsed, and currently I'm standing on my personal homepage. I'm not allowed to discuss around myself, so it's been disabled. So you can see it's a little bit grayed out and you will not be able to open it. So I have an object here, a season, that I would like to go into. And you can see it's still deactivated, and this is because we have by configuration said that you are not allowed to discuss around seasons. But then if I click on a product here, it will launch this product page, and now you will see that it has been activated. So now if I click on this one, you will see it open, and you will see it load all of the discussions that are around this object. You can see now that I have a filter here. I can start by talking a little bit about this. This is one of the features that we only support with using Exalead. And the reason for that is that we need Exalead for indexing the values that we are able to filter on in order to get the performance that we would like. So you can see here now it opened up all the discussions, and it has a default filter applied saying that show me all discussions around the category production. And category production in this case is something that we have indexed with Exalead and said that this should be filterable. So you can see now it's showing 142 discussions. So maybe if I click give all discussions from user test everything, then it will instantly query Exalead and return all the discussions that have been sent from the user test everything. And now you can see it's limited to 9 discussions. So this advanced filtering can be purely configured by XML and use Exalead to search on data that you have indexed and also tags. So let's collapse this filter. Scroll down. Let's take a discussion here that I'm interested in. So I click on that one, and then it will load the entire discussion in the side panel here. So you can see the first message from Adam Sandler. Has no avatar, so you'll get the default one. And he has decided to notify Clint Eastwood. So here you will be able to see the entire discussion with all the replies. You have something called watching, which is similar to those of you that have used the Jira software from Atlassian. You have the ability to go in as a user and say that, okay, this is an interesting discussion. I'm not a part of it, but I would like to be a watcher so I can get notified as well. So then you have the ability as a user to see who is watching this discussion currently, and also add yourself or remove yourself as a watcher. Reply functionality in this case, you saw this on the screenshot, will open the reply form in the side panel, allowing you to make a reply. You can add new recipients if you would like to add someone else to get notified in this discussion. You can see who is watching it and things like that. Navigate back by clicking on this breadcrumb up here. It will take me to the start page for this. Here I would like to add another thing about the filtering. Here we have used a really powerful way of configuring these filters to say that in this case we are standing in context of this product, but we would like to see discussions in a larger scope. So here we have configured it to show discussions around this product, but also all the parts and documents that have been connected to this one. So when you open this discussion panel, standing on this product, you will see here on the side that you have a couple of discussions here around this part as well. So this will allow you to show discussions in a much broader way than just for this particular object. So you don't have to move around different parts in an EBOM or any other structure.
So you could have a similar thing set up to see all discussions related to everything within a project, for instance?
Yeah, so you can say that, yeah, go to any object inside a project and then you will display all this. But this, in order to get the performance that we need for this, you will have to hook up Exolite for this. So you cannot do it by the pure Innovia solution. But this is really powerful. So currently it's showing 142 discussions. Then I have the ability here to toggle this filter, say, give me only discussions for this context object. And then you will see 57 discussions and only around this product that I'm standing on. So you can do really powerful configurations using this.
Nice.
Yeah. Reload, you can collapse the side panel as a user. You can also resize it if you want to, if you need it a little bit bigger or smaller. So moving on to the second part, the inbox. So whenever you receive notifications, when someone creates a discussion or something, you will go to this inbox. And then you will always have a list of all the notifications you have received. You will see that some of them are in bold text, meaning that you have not read them yet. And you can also see this little number indicating how many replies you have received. So this inbox will, as by default, aggregate all notifications around that particular discussions. So you don't get spammed in your inbox with 10 notifications here showing up as 10 rows. They will aggregate them into one row, and then you will see that there are 2 new replies. So if I click on this one, it will show you the entire discussion in the right-hand side. So you will be able to see pretty much all messages in the entire discussion. You have the ability to reply directly in the inbox, so you don't have to go to the object and the discussion panel to reply. So you can do a quick reply from the inbox. And then yeah, you see the subject, context path, things like that.
This is much more personal than just another line on a table, so it feels very friendly.
Yeah. Same here. You can see some filtering using Exolite, and the exact same filter configurations that you use for the side panel can be used in the inbox as well. So you can configure it to be able to filter on certain type of notifications. So for instance, you can use it to see notifications that have been sent directly to me and no one else, and pretty much anything you would like to. On the left-hand side, you see a set of actions. The inbox is the default one, and the profile page, I have removed that one now. You can, by configuration, add and remove actions to this one. So you can configure to have an action to another page in the system, external URLs. So for instance here, as an example, if I click on this one, it will load the Technia web page in this MySpace. So we can use it to display various pages, internal, external. And if you use the Exolite filters, you can configure multiple inboxes if you would like to. So maybe if you have something called a system notification, that is a notification sent out by the administrators, then you can add an action here called system notifications, and then you can use these Exolite filters to filter out a particular type of notification so that they will always go to that inbox instead of the normal inbox. Also really powerful. So this is what we currently have for this release. We are already working on more features for the next release. Some are already in place and some are planned for that. And as I mentioned, the next release will be the first one that is not limited availability, meaning that you will be able to just download it and install it.
So that means right now, if any of the users listening wanted to get a hold of this, they would just put in a request and we could open up access on the products page for them.
Yeah, if you feel that you would like to at least start experimenting in it in your test system and play around with configurations and things like that, then you can get a license.
And the reason for that, again, is we really think that this is going to be a big future of the direction we're headed with the products, and we're looking for customers that want to experiment with it seriously and try new things. so that we can work together and be much more productive about getting these features put in place.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. I forgot to mention we are currently developing this together with one of our big customers in order to add the functionality that they would like to have, and I think that all of you find very useful. So that we know that everything we do here is something that is very useful.
Yeah, it's looking really great, and I'm excited to see the direction it takes.
Yeah.
You know, for those interested, again, just please reach out to us, and you know, we'll make sure that you get access to that as soon as possible. And you know, as far as release 2014.2, that was an overview of all the major features. So for those interested, it's available, it's released. You can get access to it at products.technia.com. For those of you that aren't current customers that are listening, you can email me directly at neil.fippen@technia.com, and I can work on getting you test licenses if something like that is something that you want to experiment with at your company as well. So with that, I think there's a few minutes left here at the end for questions. I'll open up the questions panel if anybody would like to have anything answered. I'll open it right now. Okay. I can't read that. Okay, we have one that says, so does this mean that the JavaScript page doesn't enforce an applet? Anders, I think you were talking about that earlier. They can use this without applets on the client side, right?
The drop zone itself does not require an applet, but the file manager, however, still does.
Mm-hmm.
So see this as the first step in an applet-free world, in the direction
Towards that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a follow-up. We had a question concerning file manager. Does it support attribute sync with MS Office documents?
Yes, there was just a few technical reasons for some minor features to not be in there, but you can assume the same behavior. It's 99% the same features supported. So all the triggers, checkout triggers, drop zone handlers, all the standard features in file managers is there.
We have another one came in, the hierarchy feature. Sorry, I'm reading these as they come in. Okay, the hierarchy feature is really cool. Can you tell me what the prototype we used? Our company, we used Xmine, which is similar. Do we have a protocol that it's based on, or have we built it?
Yeah, we built it on our own.
Hmm?
Did we take that one?
No. So my consultant told me that sorting order was resetting every time was also fixed in this version. Is that correct?
I don't remember if it was registered as a bug. It probably was.
We'll check into that one and reply to this asker directly. Are Technia discussions replacing Innovia discussions, or beside Innovia discussions?
Yeah, I mentioned it briefly. It is a separate thing. It's not in any way tied to the Innovia discussions, so you can use it alongside it. So this uses a pure TDC data model to store all the information. So it's not reusing any of the out-of-the-box discussion. This is a completely separate.
Yeah, probably a
feature.
replacement with a bit bigger scope than discussions.
Can Technia discussions also be notified via email to the user? And if so, can the responses be captured in those discussions?
Yeah, not really. It's an interesting topic. We have no out-of-the-box solution for that, but it would be possible to have notifications sent as email. You can hook in your own Java logic, and then you could talk to your mail server and send an email. And then you can have it work the other way back in. The customer that we have worked with to implement this, they will have similar functionality to that. But that would mean that you yourself would have to make some kind of integration between your mail server and Enovia, meaning that when you receive a mail that has some information in it that is regarding a discussion, you will have to use our APIs and then add it to the discussion it is around. So yes, it is possible, but you will be able to do a lot of coding yourself and integrating between the mail server and Enovia.
Could we ship standard templates for Outlook, for instance?
I don't know. I think it might be tricky. What we do is we will supply Java APIs for sending these emails and creating replies and new discussions, and then the mail server. I doubt we will look into it, but I doubt it's something that we can do much around. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
When using the drop zone on a part, do you have to specify the document type that you want to create?
Yeah, correct.
And that's just configured on the drop zone.
Yeah, exactly. You could configure a pre-process page where you could have your type chooser, if you like.
Okay, last one in here. Same thing on the file manager. Is there a clever way to handle document properties in Office 2010, 2013?
Clever way, I'm not sure.
Maybe we need to just follow up with them on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
What
Okay.
does it mean?
We'll respond.
Yeah, it depends on in what way we are talking document properties.
And also more on the drop zone. Can the drop zone handle just one default type or several types?
So they want to choose between.
I think the way I'm understanding the okay, can the drop zone handle just one type or several types inside the file? So I guess when you drop it over, the file manager itself doesn't differentiate, right? You can add any type.
Yeah. So you can add different drop zones for adding different types of documents. So if you want to drop just a generic reference document, you could have one column for that, and then you can have a different column for specification of a certain type. And if you want to combine it into one and you want to choose from many different types, you could have your pre-process page where you do this input.
Right.
And also a drop zone handler if you want even more advanced functionality.
Great. Well, that brings us to the end of our hour. There's a few open questions on here that I'll follow up with personally, make sure we get everything responded to. But if anybody else has any questions after that, please feel free to contact us directly. We're here to help. So thank you very much for attending today's webinar, and we'll talk to you next release.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.